Hello, everyone. Manuela Marcheggianni, Darius Majlessi from Isomers Skincare. Today is our live. Woohoo!
She's back.
Yes.
She's back. She was
I'm
away
back.
for 2 weeks, and now she's
And
back.
10 days. That's an inside joke.
That's an old joke.
2 weeks and 10 days.
You're right.
Okay, so today is very special because it's our live, and we're going to talk about aging skin, hormonal aging skin, in particular, mature skin. And what we mean by mature, many people think 50s. We're thinking more 60s.
Look,
60s were very good to us.
I honestly don't like to put a specific number to it. I think that mature skin stage starts when your hormone starts fluctuating too much. And that's when you're going to run into a lot of, I call it issues in terms of challenges with your skin.
But usually after 40.
Right.
Because you get a lot of hormonal issues as a teen.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So
I'm talking about hormonal aging.
Hormonal aging.
Yeah, that's the part I'm talking about.
yeah, mature skin, hormonal aging. So we're going to talk about that. This is a part of our cutaneous chemistry, and we want to welcome you into it. If you have questions and comments, please put them down below. We will try to get to everybody, as many as we can. If we can't get to your question today live, we do try to follow up and then create videos or some responses. So every question is valuable. We will try our best to interact with you and answer their questions. Because I think, especially with skincare, it's all about the information and the education. There's so much misinformation, so it's really great to ask your question, be specific, and try to get the right guidance. And with the right guidance and knowing what ingredients to use, you can literally have the skin that you want. So having said that, without further ado,
our main goal is to teach you the alphabets of skincare. So then you can make your own sentences, write your own words. You can do, once you know the basic alphabets and the right words, then you can really the sky is the limit. You can make good choices for your skincare regimen and get the best for your skin.
awesome. Let's go. Cutaneous chemistry, timeless glow.
Right. So we're talking about these hormonal aging, what happens to our skin. And sometimes we oversimplify it. It's honestly very complicated. And what we're doing in our presentation today is just touching on the tip of the iceberg. So just giving you some overall guidelines as to what you need to be aware and why it is so important that you look after your skin when you enter that stage of your life. So let's go and see basically what happens and what changes happen to your skin. Well, we talk about collagen production. After the age 25, your skin's capability or in terms of having optimized collagen is going to go down. So you're going to be making a little bit less collagen. So if you look at a graph and you just see your collagen starts being optimum, and then you start going down, go down, go down. But when you get to the menopausal age, that slope is going to change dramatically. So when you're younger, if you don't compensate, you may not feel it as much. But when you get older and you're 40, 45, 50, when you don't start compensating and supporting your skin, the results are going to show much more. So this is the time that you really need to go to bat for your skin and give it that extra support. Your elastin concentration is going to go down. Collagen and elastin work together. They both support the skin. Collagen is more of a scaffolding, and elastin is more of the elastic band. So elastin is more for dropping.
Yeah, so organization, recoil.
Right, exactly. Hyaluronic acid. We talk about hyaluronic acid a lot. We talk about how much this molecule can absorb many times its weight in water. And the function of that hyaluronic acid in your skin is that it will not only help support your matrix, because it's in the extracellular matrix, in the underlying layer of your skin, but also its presence allows your skin to absorb moisture and not only absorb it from the environment, but also retain it. So a skin that is rich in hyaluronic acid is dewy, supple, and it has the right glow. Less wrinkles as well. Now, decreased sebum production. Well, sebum has, we complain about oily skin and we want to address it, we want to balance it, and that's fine. But sebum is not a bad thing. Your skin makes it to support it. It lubricates the top layer of your skin. It supports the good bacteria as well. So it's good for the environment of your skin. And also it reduces the transepidermal water loss in your skin. Exactly. So sebum has a lot of good functions on your skin, and you need to have it in check. Too much of it may cause problems. But if you don't have sebum, then you're really going to suffer. So people that suffer from acne really bad and they need to go on these acne medications like Accutane and these, so those medications basically interact in a way with your liver that your body's capability to create all this sebum and all this fat will go really down. And then what is the immediate side effect? Peeling of your skin, dryness, uncomfort, and all those problems arise. So sebum is a good thing. Too much of it, like anything else, causes problems. Now, we talk about oxidative stress, free radicals, daily sun exposure, exposure to PM 2.5, the toxins in the environment. All those things, as a function of time, will take its toll on our skin. And the pressure of those free radicals, the damages of those free radicals, will work at a DNA level, at a cellular level, at a protein level, and it damages our collagen, it damages the capability of our system to regenerate itself. So, and then it starts taking its toll. I think about it, like a table. So you have this table, and say the capacity of this table, let's say, is 30 kilos, okay? And then you put 50 grams here, 60 grams here, 80 grams here. Over the years, you start piling on this table, and then all of a sudden you put something that is 5 grams, and then the table breaks. So this is the same with the oxidative damage to our skin. Your skin keeps tolerating, keeps fighting it, but it needs help at one point. At one point, we have to go to that table and take some of that stuff away because it's just weighing on it, it's accumulating. Glycation. This is it's interesting because this interaction of sugar with the protein, it causes the formation of advanced glycation end products, which the acronym will be AGES again.
Yeah, that's right.
So when these sugar molecules interact with the proteins, it changes the conformation, the three-dimensional structure of these proteins. And these proteins, for them to work properly, they need to be in the right structure, three-dimensional form. And it's like we need to be like this, and somebody starts coming, tying us up, and then our hands are not going to work, our legs are not going to work. So when these proteins will become structural bound, then the function of those proteins will diminish. All of a sudden, the wrinkles are going to form, the collagen is going to collapse, the elastin is not working. So we want to fight this glycation process.
The best way to picture glycation is fresh cotton candy. So you have fresh cotton candy that's just made, it's just spun. That's sugar, right? So they take this sugar and they make a big, huge, almost like a cotton ball of it. It's very big and fluffy.
Volume.
It has volume.
Right.
Then you take it and say you leave it in the sun or in a plastic bag for a little while. You don't eat it right away. You leave it to the next day. You leave it till later on in the afternoon, and it sit in the sun for a little bit. You see that it has crystallized a bit. It's shrunken, kind of twisted. That's a very good representation of what glycation looks like.
Right. Basically, it condenses the proteins. It makes them collapse. And
you can't fluff them out again because they've changed also.
Right. So we need to fight that process. Now, the barrier function of the skin gets compromised. There will be changes in the microbiome of your skin, and the microbiome really affects how your skin behaves in terms of, because it gets a lot of nutrition from those microbiomes, the outer layer of your skin gets thinner, and it's going to cause a problem. And so those things, that skin is going to start getting compromised. So you're going to have more transepidermal water loss, and that makes your skin feel drier. And not only becomes more dry, when that outer layer gets compromised, your skin is also going to become more sensitized, because the pathogens and the bad stuff can penetrate your skin a lot easier. So your skin will become more prone to rashes, irritation, inflammation, etc. Cellular turnover. We talk about that a lot. So these dead cells, the signaling system is going to slow down, and the cellular turnover is going to go from, say, 34 days or 28 days to 38, 39, 40 days. And that will prevent the new cells to come to the surface of the skin, and the skin becomes dull. And this exfoliation process in the past was just thought of like a simple shedding of the skin. But now scientifically we have proven that when the skin is shedding, there is a signaling mechanisms. So the guys that are leaving, they send a signal, a very sophisticated signal, to the lower level to start synthesizing, to start making more fresh skin. So when they're not leaving, then the factory is not making the new one. So it goes into like a vicious cycle, and then the skin becomes more dull, it loses its radiance, and you lose that beautiful complexion that you have. So proper exfoliation as we get older, a mild exfoliation is really, really important.
A regular exfoliation, something that you put yourself on a program or routine, because this regular exfoliation refreshes and renews the skin. And every section of the face or the body has its own schedule.
Right.
So it doesn't always shed at the same time, at the same rate. But having ingredients in your skincare that facilitate the degluing and the shedding helps keep your skin looking clearer, and actually helps your skin function better, because if your skin is like a filter, it's not going to be clogged, it's not going to get ruddy, it's not going to get backed up. It breathes
better.
It breathes better. It does everything that it needs to do with less stress. So not having that regular exfoliation. So when it decreases as you get older, you have to be aware of that. You don't want to be too harsh either. You don't want inflammation, but it's important to keeping it regular. Just like our systems, we have to keep ourselves regular. You got to keep your skin shedding regular.
Absolutely. Now, we talk about hormonal changes.
Fun stuff.
This is, it's very interesting, because we talk about these hormonal changes, and these hormonal changes will come back and feed into all these things that we have talked about. So all these 8 things that you have, all under these hormonal changes, they're going to get repeated again. So this is why it's really important that we address the hormonal changes. One of them is estrogen, okay? When the estrogen goes down, the skin starts misbehaving. You're going to get your hot flashes, your skin is going to get thinner, your skin is going to get drier, and it feeds into all those other things that were happening because those other mechanisms. So there are different mechanisms in your skin that contribute to the dryness and getting thinner, and one of them are those hormonal changes. The cortisol level. Now, as we age, cortisol is referred to as the stress hormone. So it is in your body, it has some good functions. So without cortisol, we're going to be in trouble. But like anything else, too much of it is going to cause a problem. So cortisol, correlate cortisol to a knee-jerk reaction, and also correlated to inflammation, angry skin, and all those negative things as a side effects of inflammation can be related to cortisol. Your skin is also going to be more sensitized. That's really important. And then endorphins. Cortisol also causes pigmentation, by the way. So one of the reasons as we age, you're going to have more age spots. One of those reasons is the excess of cortisol in your skin. Now, endorphins, we talk about the happy molecules. Now, these happy molecules are really important for the skin. Your skin has endorphins. Endorphins is like it's a combination of two words, like smog is smoke and fog. So they make the smog with it, right? So endorphin is endogenous morphine. So it's the endogenous means that your body makes morphine. It's a natural process that your body creates morphine to deal with discomfort and pain. So when your endorphin levels go down, you're gonna get sad. It affects your mood. Also, guess what? Your skin may be less tolerant to pain, can get irritated a lot easier. So supporting the endorphins in your skin is really, really important. So now we're going through all these and we were talking about them. Let's go see what are some of the ingredients that we can just, individually talk about these ingredients as to what they can do, right? So when it comes to collagen, what's the first thing that comes to your mind, Manuela?
For me, for collagen? So when I think about collagen, I always think about collagen. Well, I think about a couple of things for collagen. Collagen makers. I think of retinoids that are good collagen makers. So you have the retinoic acids and the retinoid, that family. I think of vitamin C. I think of that antioxidant as a collagen maker. And I think of collagen peptides. So those are usually my go-to three.
So those are the key things. There are some growth factors that are really amazing in boosting your collagen.
Exosomes.
So exosomes that help the delivery of these things, they all help. So when we talk about you're aging and you're going into that time of that era in your life that collagen is being depleted really sharply, those are really the four category of ingredients that you can go to as a resort to really help supplement the collagen. And all those four that we just mentioned will also help support your elastin.
What's really interesting is with collagen, so as you're aging, and we're always talking about this over the age of 25, right? So we're really talking about skin that's now 45, 50, 60 years old, and 70 years old. So skin like that, you're making collagen, but you're making very little. And the quality of the collagen that you're making is not that great either, because technically you are your own donor. So if you're 50 or 60 years old and your body is going through hormonal changes, so just imagine everything that would have been recruited in your body to create the collagen is now in a lesser or not ideal supply. So now you're your own donor, you're making, and your collagen, what is left is also disorganized now. It's breaking down. So your matrix is compromised, your structure. So just think about having a house and thinking of having the 2x4s in the walls. Some of them are missing. They're not even there. They're not going to be able to hold the support very well. So the structure, your matrix, and excuse me, a lot of people talk about using retinoids when you're older, and then the fear of, well, if I use a retinoid and my skin is thinning, this is going to thin my skin out even more, so I need to stop using it. Or is the retinoid thinning my skin? No, your skin is thinning because your collagen matrix is disorganized and lesser. It's not as dense. It's not as robust. So this is why you want to include collagen makers, collagen stimulants, even copper peptides. We forgot about copper peptides as well. That will help to feed that pathway, to help to feed that reservoir, to help stimulate it. So understand it's never too late. It's just knowing, okay, this is the stage. Now, say you're on a 4-lane highway. Now you're only on a single-lane highway because you got older. Everything has been less. So you want to basically come in and recruit to create more collagen.
Right. I want to touch base on one little thing here. What Manuela mentioned is so important because a lot of people get confused as to, as I'm aging, is my skin getting thicker or is it getting thinner? And the answer is yes.
I love that.
So let me try to explain that to you. When you're looking at your skin, you're looking at many layers. The top layer that is very, very dead, that layer is going to get thicker. The bottom layers that are from collagen and elastin and extracellular matrix, those are getting thinner. So the ratio from the outer layer to a lower layer is going to change. And when you ask that question, which is really good, I'm going to use retinoids. So I'm going to support this bottom layer because they help creating collagen. That's good. But then I'm going to make that top layer thinner. So the question is that what you really need to do is that when you're using such products, that they work as two mechanisms. One mechanism, collagen production. The other mechanism is the exfoliation, because retinoids basically do both. So you need to be careful and not go crazy with the concentrations, because you can reach a point that you're making this collagen, but you're making that outer layer way too thin. So the answer is yes, use it, but be aware of how dramatic is that concentration that you're using. Don't go to those crazy concentrations that they really overshed your skin instead of supporting the bottom layers.
And the research is always pointing to the fact that a low dose retinoid, lower dose, okay, using much less than you thought, 1/10, 1/2, 1/25 of what you thought. So if you were at a 0.1, maybe go to a 0.01 or 0.02, okay? And use that 3 to 4 times a week. Right. That is going to net you out better collagen within a year than if you went with a high dose and then you had to go on and off the program because of the cortisol level increasing, the skin barrier being compromised, the loss of the hydration in the system, the microbiome being out of balance. So you see, when you go with a higher dose, your chances of irritation goes up. And when you increase that irritation, you activate a lot of the negative things that we're trying to guide you away from. So yes, the retinoids are important. And the low dose, which is really good news, is better for you than the higher dose.
Minimize the side effects, increase the efficacy.
Absolutely.
That's really the goal. Now, we talk about hyaluronic acid.
Let's talk about recoil.
Recoil, elastin. Some of those collagen peptides are amazing for elastin. Matrixyl 3000, Matrixyl morphomics, Synthase 6. Those next generation matrixyl peptides, they're all supporting the elastin layers as well. Growth factors are amazing for the elastin layer. So those are some of the key ingredients that I go to if I want to support the elastin layer of the skin.
One of the things that collagen, collagen plays many roles, right? So collagen is going to make, your skin, it's the fibers of your skin. It's the fabric. But good collagen also holds moisture, holds water, it retains it, so it prevents you from having dry skin. Good collagen also reduces your pore size because of the cellular structure, right? Because then the structure is tighter, there's more density. Good collagen also is organized in a way that some of it, just think of it like springs or screws, right? They're going to think of, or even fusilli if you're into pasta. It's going to be those corkscrews shape. Just think of it more like that. And that has a recoil, so that holds things back. That can stretch, but it comes back. Like memory foam, it comes back. As you get old, as you go through this hormonal aging, and because of the hormone decrease, the recoil becomes more like our memory, start forgetting things. It doesn't really bounce back that quickly. So the decrease in recoil means a sagging skin.
Right.
It means that you're going to notice more skin sagging. And some people will say, you know what, I'm 70 or 80 or 90 years old. I have no wrinkles. I have a little bit of sagging skin, but I have no wrinkles. Well, of course you have no wrinkles because you've completely lost the recoil. So your skin is like a sheet, right? It's just going to fall. That doesn't actually have structure to it, right? So it's really important to promote the coiling, the recoiling.
Your skin needs to be dewy and bouncy.
Bouncy.
Now, hyaluronic acid, what can I say? you need that hyaluronic acid. There are ingredients that support the hyaluronic acid, but one of the best ways to do it is to use a low molecular weight. Molecular weight that is around 5 kilodalton to 20 kilodalton. Then those are the ones that really penetrate and support the hyaluronic acid at the lower level of your skin. Higher molecular weight hyaluronic acid is amazing for moisturizing the top layer of your skin. Unfortunately, it's not going to penetrate deep enough because it's just way, way too big. It's like 1,000-fold more bigger than the 5 kilodalton. So the ones that you need combination of both low molecular weight and high molecular weight to really bring that moisture to all layers of your epidermis. Mm-hmm. Now we talk about sebum. Sebum. Good exfoliation, good cleansing really helps your sebum levels. pH balancing of your skin really helps your sebum levels.
Right. Balance.
Do not, here not what to use, but do not use super occlusive products on a regular basis. Remember what I just said here, on a regular basis. There are times that your skin may need that occlusion and it's not necessarily bad. But if you overdo it, you over-apply something that is occlusive, then you're going to have problems. So be aware of the amount that you're using and how often you're using of the occlusive products. There are some enzymes that really are great in terms of controlling the sebum. So
lactobacillus ferment.
Right. Lactobacillus ferment is one of those enzymes. So you can
fantastic.
Look for those.
Also, it's a postbiotic, isn't it, as well?
Yeah.
It has that function. That hyaluronic does too, apparently, doesn't it? It's a postbiotic?
A little bit. Yes.
Right?
It's
so all of these things, microbiome and sebum.
Some of those ingredients are multifunctional.
Very multifunctional. Yeah. That's why you can keep it simple. Let's go into some of the questions. Because we're in our 60s, we have 60-year-old skin. There's things that we can actually now, from experience, talk about what happens with our skin, and as we've seen the changes with our skin. What are the ingredients you should use in your 60s? What are your go-to ingredients?
I really like the collagen peptides.
Me too.
I love the growth factors. I like the hormonal support in terms of the soy isoflavones. I really like them. I think they really help, especially females, but for males as well.
It does show improvement in men's skin as well.
Yeah. And I like glutathione.
Oh, well, all right. See, nice taking all my favorites.
We talked about the cellular damage. We talked about the continuous bombardment of our skin with free radicals. So some good antioxidants can really help the skin.
I think you have to have an antioxidant. Yeah. I think you have to have a retinoid. Mm-hmm. You need a collagen peptide or a collagen peptide or something that's going to help with the injury response, either a copper peptide, collagen peptide. Then I think you need an antioxidant. Now, so a lot of people know vitamin C. Vitamin C is a very popular antioxidant, but that's not the only antioxidant. And we love personally, we like the glutathione. So we have our glutathione. Absolutely. And the more we use it and the more we've worked with it and more that the world is starting to learn about it as well, the more benefits we see. So this is something that I thought you have to use when you're over 40, but now we're finding that even in your 20s, it's very good for freckling. It's very good for other things. So it's got a pigmentation boost, because that's the other thing that happens with hormonal aging. Yeah. Your skin color changes. Duller or more high and low color because the melanin in some areas is turned on too much or turned off. So you get stuff going on in your skin. But there's other forms of antioxidants like superoxide dismutase, astaxanthin. Do you want to talk a little bit about those? Because I think those don't discount them because they do have a role to play.
Look, you can use a variety of the antioxidants. Vitamin E is another great one.
Great one.
If you use vitamin E, make sure you use the right isomer, which is the D-alpha tocopherol. So D-alpha tocopherol is the right isomer. It's the bioactive form of the vitamin E. It's amazing for your skin. It's amazing for your health if you ingest it. It has truly many, many different benefits. Those are, I think, the key ones that we just talked about. But the list of antioxidants, we can just have one show, just talk about antioxidants and how many different kinds are there. When it comes to antioxidants, one thing I always recommend is that there are some antioxidants that are water soluble. There are some antioxidants that are oil soluble. So what you should try to do is make sure that you use a combination of both, because in our body, the cellular structure, some components are fat loving, some components are water loving, and we need to make sure that antioxidant reaches all those areas, the different membranes. So combining the water loving and fat loving antioxidants is a good approach.
All right. We have a list of questions that we're going to get through, but the second one I'm going to skip right now because I'm going to go to the one that I really like. I'm in my 60s. Is it too late to start a skincare routine? Will it help? I love these kind of questions because people are like, they're giving up. They put their hands up. They think it's too late. It's not too late. It really, and we're not saying too late because we want you to get our products. We're telling you it's not too late because you need to understand how the body works and how the organs of the body works, right? There is a regeneration, there is a renewal, there is a process, but it is very much dependent on your behavior and activities, right? Your situation. There's a lot you can do. If you give up, it's too late. But if you are willing to actually do some work, it's never too late.
Right. Your body is not one of the most sophisticated machine that ever existed.
Right.
So, and it's really capable. It needs some support. It needs to be tuned up. It needs to be looked after. But it will respond. It will respond. We have seen it time after time. People that have come to our lab that they were in late 70s, early 80s, and on a 4-week trial, 4 weeks, and their skin changed. Even they were looking at their own pictures and they're saying, oh, wow, I can't believe this really happened to my skin. Yes, it will respond. I'm not saying that we can turn an 80-year-old skin into their 60s. I have a little guy here.
Tuxedo wants to be part of it. He needs to stay close to us.
But, we can make it look a lot better. And at any age, a good, healthy skin is always younger looking. Always younger looking. We can definitely bring you back 10 or 15 years, no questions asked.
And don't forget what is so important about the skin. The skin is your security system. It's looking after you. It's keeping you safe. It's covering you. Like, it has so many jobs to do. So you want your skin to be in good shape. Tuxedo brings his toys to us.
He wants his attention.
He wants attention. So he's bringing his toys. So there we go. We're distracting him with food out there. But he's so cute. It's so great having, and that'll also keep you younger. When you have a pet, when you have someone that you've got to look after, and you have to walk, and you make sure that you never put him in harm's way. Like, I make sure that he has the right food and the right exercise and the right environment, that nothing can hurt him, right? And you keep him active and exercised. And yet for ourselves, we put ourselves in harm's way. We don't actually take the time to go on a regular skincare routine, cleanse our skin properly, feed it properly, make sure that it's not in harm's way. So it is never too late, especially when you are in your 60s or 70s, and you just start simply. It doesn't have to be difficult. It's just a simple, maybe 2 or 3 step process where you pick the right ingredients that are age appropriate, right? And that's going to help with the cleansing without disturbing the microbiome or feeding the microbiome, because I think that's really important, getting that microbiome.
Right. Microbiome support, it's getting trendy now, but it is super important. It's more important than it's getting trendy. I cannot overemphasize how much that good bacteria that is on your skin, how it interacts with your skin, how it feeds your skin, and how much of a symbiotic relationship it has with it. Look, when you go on these acne medication and they really cut off the sebum to your skin, and that sebum is the food for the microbiome, okay? The microbiome needs that. You will see that those skins will maybe stop the acne, but they suffer. They start getting aging. The skin gets older. It starts getting older looking. It doesn't have the right color anymore. It doesn't have the right texture anymore. It gets wrinkled, actually. So it's not just because that sebum is not there, because when the sebum goes, it doesn't differentiate between the good bacteria and the bad bacteria. Okay, we're going to destroy them all, good and bad all together. It's not the right approach. Or if you go on that type of arrangement, you have to, for whatever reason, then you need to make sure that you go back and support that microbiome on your skin. It becomes even more important.
The microbiome is a factory. Like it's a world, but it's also a factory that makes ceramides. It makes hyaluronic, right? Glycosaminoglycans.
Everything that your skin makes, it needs components, and the microbiome makes those components so your skin can make it.
So one of the things, so we call it microbiome now, and we didn't realize it was, maybe we did, maybe I did it, maybe you did, but 40 years ago when we first met, when we were talking with my problematic skin, he would always say pH is important. We used to call it pH. Well, pH, microbiome, this is the correlation. We're talking about the same thing. The pH is important because it's the pH that determines the health of your microbiome.
So is moisture.
Right.
So dry skin, wrong pH, lack of sebum, those are all the things that are going to make your microbiome. UV exposure.
Changes.
Think
pH.
about it. Damages your microbiome. So you need to be aware of those things and not only supplement it, but also avoid things that damage the microbiome.
How do you protect your skin from further damage? Look at the screen. Mix and match. Oh.
Okay.
You want us to talk about these? All right. We're being instructed. Tuxedo has decided.
We get sidetracked. It's Tuxedo.
Right, here we go. Mix and match. Okay. Right, here are...
Okay, we talked about so many of those issues, okay? And then they said, well, now we talked about ingredients. Well, let's talk about products. Now we're going to talk about Isomers products. So when I was thinking of all those things, because I summarized them, I compiled them, or put them in an order, and I said, okay, how am I going to go to tackle all these individual problems? And this by no means that, or suggesting that you need all these products, and I'm going to explain to you later as to how you can really simplify it. But these are the products that comes to my mind in terms of tackling those individual problems. So when we are talking about collagen and elastin, we talked about it to some extent. We talked about Matrixyl. So our Matrixyl serum and creams are really good for that. Our vitamin C and ferulic acid is really good for that. Ferulic acid synergizes the activity of vitamin C and helps its penetration. And our ultimate super skin that has a kind of a copper peptide in it as well. It's
the neodermal technology.
Neodermal technology.
He loves that. He loves that's literally, behind the scenes. Ultimate Super Skin, I think, is his favorite formulation. He loves that.
I will not do without that product and snail, the snail and that. So dry skin and barrier, we talked about hormonal changes. This is the gold standard of our products for hormonal changes. R-Pure.
With the genistein, soy isoflavones.
Yes, soy stem cells. So we looked at every component of soy, from the soy stem cells to the symbiosomes, to the soy genistein and daisydine, all those ingredients. And we found the ultra pure forms of those ingredients in a no dilution way or form of it. We have put it in here. This is truly a supercharged product in terms of treating hormonal aging.
We started working on this when Keon was born, so 26 years ago.
Yeah.
26 years ago. We were so ahead of our time. So ahead of our time looking at the idea of, first of all, hormonal aging is not a disease. Going through menopause, going through the changes, going through perimenopause, we were told there was a whole body of opinion then that you can't talk about menopause because skincare doesn't treat diseases. And we're like, when was menopause a disease? It's not a disease, it's a stage. And in this stage, this is what's happening, right? And so looking at that and looking at what was the food that was recommended, so people were eating soy because of all these benefits. Could we take that, extract that, and use it topically? What are the results going to be? Could it help refatten? Because remember, your body is changing on the inside. You are losing the estrogen. You are losing these hormones. So you're losing a lot of good fats. Could we now refatten your skin on the top, on the surface, right? Because we do understand that skincare is not really going to go in and rebuild everything and restructure, but how do we do from the outside as much as we can to fortify, to really help with that transepidermal water loss, decrease the roughness and irritation, increase that recoil. So we like to call this our age zero DNA, and we like to call this, for the hormonal aging. But today, in today's world where people are now embracing these ingredients, we've been working with these ingredients for a quarter of a century, knowing that when you get older, you need these because we always look at think about perfect skin as a puzzle, and then when you start aging, some of the puzzle pieces fall out. So we got to make those pieces and put them back in. And this is a key one for over 50 skin, right? For hormonal aging.
A very, very interesting theory exists. That I'm just mentioning that because of what Manuela mentioned, is that they started regenerating the top layer of the skin, and they don't know exactly why, but when you start doing that, the bottom layers are starting to regenerate, copying the top layer. So it's a very interesting field right now in terms of how different parts copy other parts, and we still have to learn and discover a lot about that. But that, I thought it was very fascinating, that how sometimes cells copy the other good activities that are happening at the other locations. It's very fascinating.
Remember what we used to talk about 27 years ago, but we used to talk about, remember when they were talking about the ones that would take like the black sheep and the placenta, and they would take the new cells and they would inject it in people because they were saying, like teaching an old dog new tricks, like injecting yourself with these new cells was then going to help regenerate and create. So we were thinking, okay, how do we do this ethically? How do we do this without animal-human intervention?
Right.
We went to the plant kingdom and we created this system. Yeah. But it's always been that philosophy. The coolest part of all of this, though, is not that we had this thought and we wanted to copy it, is that we ended up picking the exact one that the world, 25, 27 years later is also looking at. Because today, even more than 25 years ago, the genistein is very important. Yeah. It is the gold standard, right? And so it shows you that when you have science and it's evidence-based and you use this logic and you're looking at all the different, if you look at the matrix in its full and you start understanding what the matrix needs, then you start isolating those ingredients that could complement the best.
Exactly.
So proud of this formula.
Now, we talk about dry skin and the barrier function, ceramides. You can't do without ceramides. So our ceramides barrier relief is an amazing. It uses many different forms of ceramides. There's not only one form of ceramides. So we are using 6 different forms of ceramides in there that are very effective. We are using our moisture mask, which is based on hyaluronic acid. We have the multimolecular weight hyaluronic acid. We talked about different layers that you penetrate. Niacinamide 5%. Some of these ingredients, I put them in one category, but they're multifunctional. So niacinamide also is good for pigmentation, it's good for moisturization. It also supports the collagen to some extent.
Sebum control.
Right.
And an antioxidant.
Right. We talked about cellular repair, microbiome, natural way. Feed your skin with the right stuff and your skin is going to respond. Snail peptide, one of my favorite products. I have seen truly magic with that product, and it's really effective. How it's purified, how it's concentrated, and how it doesn't have impurities is very important, and we pay a lot of attention to that. Ceramides Prolipid again, amazing product, and glutathione, because it fights the free radicals that damage the cellular repair, and that's why it makes it very, very important. With sebum, we talked about it. Lactobacillus ferment, we talked about it. Niacinamide, we talked about it. It does a good job. Pigmentation, retinoisin. Good combination of niacinamide and retinol. It does an amazing job. Multifunctional, going from your collagen to your brightening of your skin to the right exfoliation. It does it all.
To controlling like the irritation and the cortisol and all of that stress function.
It
does all keep that down.
Simple Science Azelaic Acid is an amazing product. Vitamin C and ferulic acid and glutathione also is, again, another great antioxidant that helps support brightening of the skin. Mm-hmm. Sensitive skin and inflammation. A few years ago, a scientist I love told me that the mother of all diseases and issues is inflammation, and I think he was 100% right. So inside your body and on your skin, inflammation is bad. So anything that you do or you may do or you did that caused inflammation in your skin, you should avoid, not repeat, and put away.
Sugars.
Right.
Sugars cause inflammation.
And glycation.
Right. So, reducing the sugars. Like, I just think about it right away because we do understand that the body, especially your body, especially when you have joint pain or things are happening, that's inflammation. We want to really reduce or control inflammation as much as possible. And some things are so pro-inflammatory, right? It's a response. It happens trying to protect you from things, right? But in a way, it's overstressing.
Right. It's like an alarm that's gone bad and it's not hurting your ears. SPC, the snail peptide complex, ceramides again, copper peptide, stem genesis. Those are really great products. Now, here I put a lot of products. You cannot possibly incorporate that in a regimen, but I was just trying to tell you that there's more than one way to tackle a problem. Based on all these, then we went ahead and said, okay, let's come up with some recommendation for you guys as to what kind of a regimen can you put in place with a few simple products that if you're going through this hormonal aging phase or mature skin, you can address the needs of your skin. So let's go through that, and I think you will find it quite fascinating. So I need to explain this a little bit because I'm giving you options here.
So we're going to talk about an AM and a PM routine.
Okay. So first, we're going to go to the morning routine, okay? We're talking about you need to cleanse your skin, okay? You need a cleanser that is cleaning your skin, but it's microbiome friendly, and it supports the exfoliation and pH balances of the skin.
Why are we cleaning our skin in the morning if we cleaned our skin at night?
Well, your skin is a live factory. It interacts. And your pillow is not always the cleanest spot. So you have to be careful how many times during the night when you're sleeping you're touching, and how much sebum has been produced overnight, and how much of your excess shedding has been on your skin. You need to address that. I mean, you don't have to do it as soon as you wake up, but twice a day is usually a good approach.
It's like your skin is doing shift work, right? It's working at night even though you're sleeping.
You brush your teeth when you wake up and you didn't eat overnight, right? Why? Because the bacteria is still growing in your mouth, right? So you still need to freshen it up and get it ready for the day. Then, now we're going to the repair treat. Now, pay attention here because I don't want you to get confused. I don't want you to use all these products.
These are options. It's A or B or C. It's not all.
So you have an option. The first option is use the copper P or the niacinamide. One or the other. Pick one, okay? They both do great things. and then, or use the vitamin C and ferulic acid or glutathione. So really two products here you're going to pick. Either you're going to go with copper P and glutathione, or you go with niacinamide and ferulic acid. Not all these 4 products, only 2, okay? And then at nighttime, you want to...
This is the cream. This is still morning.
Right. It's still morning.
Yeah.
And then we always go cleanse, serum, a cream. Really, that's it. So it's the proper way of layering your skin, because last week we talked about Vaseline and how occlusion is so beneficial to your skin. So we are creating an occlusion technique that your skin is going to really benefit from it.
Right.
So Majlessi collagen peptide cream or triactive microbiome. Either one of those two, not both, only one of them. So between 4 products here, you got your morning routine completed.
You would add sunscreen after.
Right.
After this.
Only if you go in the sun.
Only if you're going in the sun.
If 80% of your activity is indoors and you go outside for only few minutes and you don't have any skin issues like melanoma or things like that, no sunscreen, okay? So if you're not at a potential danger, unless your doctor has said to you, you must because of certain skin condition, and you're not in the sun, avoid the sunscreen.
Well, if you're at home all day not doing anything, or you're going to be indoors all day, you don't really need it. But if you're out golfing, you're absolutely going to put it on.
So put that into consideration.
Nighttime routine.
Nighttime. So cleanse. You still cleanse with one or the other product. Now, I mentioned retiniacin and I mentioned R-Pure, but in front of R-Pure, I put interval. Manuela, you explain why we need that boot camp thing.
We like to do the R-Pure system, which is the refattening of the skin as a intensity workup. So you're going to do it as an interval. So you're going to do it 2, maybe 3 times a year. It takes, and you want to use the entire dosage. In essence, what we want to do is we want to load up and refortify your skin and build strength. So it's almost like doing a very specific workout for your skin. It's a program that you do for a period of time. This interval makes it it's like cycling your skincare. You're going to do a high intensity for about a month, and then for 2 or 3 months, you go basically go on to a regular intensity. This really helps to layer and be used up by the skin in a better way. We find that you get better results by doing this kind of interval workout with the skin, because this is very rich, and you don't want to use very rich things all the time, but you want to use them very specifically, and then they can be used optimally. So we do the interval.
So the interval that you're using, the R-Pure, you put the retiniacin away, and then when your R-Pure interval is completed, then you go back to retiniacin. Then you're going to use snail peptide complex or ceramized prolipid support. Matrixil for collagen peptide or ultimate super skin. So you look at those and then you can mix and match the way you want it, and that will really give you your skin all the ammunition you need.
You know, and you can think about it saying, well, which one is right for me? So for when I look at this, especially when you're getting into the Matrixil Ultimate Super Skin, for me, Matrixil is, if you look at a bed, Matrixil is going to be the sheets, right? And the Ultimate Super Skin is going to be the mattress. It helps a little bit with the refattening. So does the R-Pure. And then the Matrixil is going to be the sheet quality, the very much the quality of your skin, the density of your skin, right?
And then the last step, hydrate and protect. I talked about the 14% azelaic acid. I put interval again. Manuela explained to you what we mean by the interval. So you use it for a specific period of time. When the bottle is finished, then you walk away from it.
And you can also use azelaic as a spot treatment.
Right.
I mean, even with all intervals, you can do them as a spot treatment. The idea, though, behind intervaling is a dedicated period of time and then rest. There's a work and a rest. And the rest is as important as the work, especially with older skin.
Right. And then Matrixil for collagen peptide cream or triactive microbiome again. So this is really, if you really write it down on a piece of paper, it's a very simple regimen that if you consider all the key ingredients that you're providing to your skin with this simple regimen is pretty incredible. And your skin is really going to get a great result from it, great benefits, and you see the results. I guarantee you see the results within 2 to 3 weeks.
So what is really important here too is when you're looking at this, like he's broken it down very, very, very simply. It's always 3 steps, very much 3 processes, 3 categories: a cleansing phase, a serum phase, which is feeding, and then a protecting phase, pretty much. So you just think about it that way. The simplicity of that routine is going to really be beneficial for your skin.